Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Captain speaking.
Welcome back to Perth, Western Australia. Jack, this is your home territory, but for me, quite a bit of a distance from home. In the meantime, I have been enjoying every second of this competition, and I'm sure you guys at home will continue it here in the teen division as we get to the teen female and teen male divisions here in Australia's first ever Premier Series. I'm Alex Cunningham alongside Jack Anderson. Jack, you're a little bit more familiar with the hometown Australians. Tell us what we should expect in this team division.
Absolutely, Alex. You know, the beauty of the Premier Series competition is that we not only get to see the US athletes compete, but we get to see the Australian side and the Israel and the UK. So, yeah, coming into my hometown, I guess what we can expect is perhaps a little bit of a slower course. You know, Australians love their endurance. That's what we're known for, and that's what we love to train. So I think what we're going to see from the athletes and what we're going to see from Dave Ravi as he continues to build these phenomenal courses is something that's really going to push the Ninjas. And we might not see as many completions as what we've seen in the past, just of the nature of Australian courses. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's certainly true, and we've seen some vicious obstacles already. Just in the amateur division, Jack, I don't know if you managed to catch any of it, but we saw a number of shocking exits, some really difficult and insane obstacles on both the placement and challenge course, and it is only going to get tougher from here.
Yeah, I did manage to catch a little bit at the end of it. I saw some early exits from, I believe, Darren Baker, and I think that kind of took everyone by shock. So I'm really excited to, I guess, see what Dave Ravi has on offer as we kind of move into the teen division, and then we move into the elites, of course. We're going to see some really difficult obstacles. As I was kind of saying in previous weeks to you, Alex, if Dave Ravi designs a course that a ninja completes, there's something wrong with it. The goal is always to eliminate all athletes and put them to the absolute limits.
Yeah, I mean, we did see some very heroic clears, it must be said, in the challenge course. Although I do not want to will it into existence, but I have seen something that if it's actually in the course, I am genuinely not sure a human being can beat.
Oh no. Yeah, that's definitely what the West Australian kind of world is known for. Dave always loves to design obstacles that take many attempts to practice, and it's especially worth noting that Dave's probably been working over the last week to develop obstacles that these ninjas have never seen before and never touched. So if an obstacle of extreme difficulty is in the course, it's going to be hard for some of our athletes to beat. But looking at the teen division here, looking at the elites that we have coming up, there are some of the strongest athletes I have ever seen. So I'm confident that they're going to give it a really strong crack, and you'll be surprised, Alex. You'll be surprised at what these West Australian athletes and Australian athletes at large can pull off.
I'm not sure I would be surprised because I definitely believe in these athletes. For instance, Millie Baker, who's running first. Obviously, I know Darren and Millie very well. I've been transparent about that. But Millie came in second place at Worlds and won at Tech Skill. So, I mean, Millie is just an absolute phenomenal beast. This may be a controversial take, but we have one Australian woman, Olivia Vivian, who has won a world championship. I genuinely believe Millie could be the second.
I really hope so. You know, the Australians, we train really hard. They show up every single day. They bring their all. There's such a great community in Australia that you find in the US and other places as well. I think that's the beauty of Ninja Warrior is everyone's so supportive. Everyone's willing to share their knowledge. And Millie, I'm sure, is the product of not only of her incredible hard work, but also the product of what it means to be Australian and what it means to kind of share in the knowledge and help each other out. So I'm confident that she's going to absolutely crush this course today. To know that she kind of came second at the World Championships is hard to even conceptualize.
Certainly true. And we also have another young woman who's been in a couple world championships, Zoe Harkness. She mentioned on her bio she has a 3.5-meter lache, which is just chef's kiss. Love seeing things in the metric system. But in all seriousness, Zoe, a very strong athlete who has performed very well at the World Championship in the past. So I am looking forward to seeing her on the course. And I'm not so familiar with the gentleman that'll be running, but I am definitely looking forward to seeing what they have in store.
Yeah, having trained a lot at this gym, of course, in my past, I know that Joshua Joyce, he's there a lot of the time, and he trains an awful lot with his brothers, so I'm excited to see him take on the course. I think the beauty of, I guess, the Australian course and the way in which it's designed is any given athlete can win on any given day. I think when you come into these courses, you never really know what to expect. And whilst some competitors may be more dominant in previous competitions, Dave's always looking for ways to design the course in order to test the ninjas in new ways that they couldn't foresee. And as a result, what that allows is a beautiful competition where anyone can come out. I think it's going to be really interesting to see. Of course, we've got the retries being brought in, and I've noticed in the amateur division that really played a huge role in helping ninjas make it through the course. And I think we're going to see those in play once again. I think it's a beautiful rule. It's great innovation for really tough courses like this.
Yeah, it can. I don't want to say come back to haunt you, because if you fall on an obstacle in the flow format, then you're done. And it doesn't matter how much gas you have in the tank. But we've definitely seen athletes get really far into an obstacle, fall, and then they've just been so gassed that they're not able to beat it on the second attempt. And I feel like with a really intense upper body course like we are going to be seeing in the challenge course, I, would not be surprised at all to see that happen again.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of the challenge course, and that's what I can't wait for, is not only will they be pushed in the placement course, but I think the significance of the order in which they are placed cannot be understated in the challenge course, because for an Australian course, it really comes down to endurance, and we're going to see that in play here as Millie Baker steps up, our first athlete for the team division here. I'm incredibly excited to see her run, Alex. You just mentioned she came second at the World Championships and won a technical skill, so she is going to be a force to be reckoned with in this team division.
Oh my gosh, just immediately gliding through exactly what I expected. She does the same strategy as her father, Darren, who just hopped across those blockades like they're dominoes. They are in play, and now here come the links.
Yeah, you love to see those links. They're going for efficiency here as we move into punching bag slider. Just a nice kind of obstacle to ease her through the course as she is hitting this with a phenomenal pace. As we go up the warped wall, straight to that buzzer.
That is
What
one
an
of
incredible run.
That is one of the smoothest placement course runs we have seen all season in any division. Just gliding through effortlessly, didn't stop to take a breath.
Alex, I think that almost took us by surprise at the pace at which she has hit that course, and I think it's going to really put the pressure on the other teen ninjas coming through now. They've just seen a phenomenal run, and they're going to have to now come and beat that. It's evident why she she came second place at the World Championships.
Yeah, just by the nature of how Australia is, Perth, kind of on the other side of where a lot of the population is. Millie's from Melbourne, for instance. So these Western Australians are realizing just how good Millie Baker is, and they're going to have to step up their A game to keep up.
Yeah, that was definitely one of the smoothest runs I have seen in a long time. I mean, just incorporating the links, learning from what her father did, I guess you can say, and really going for that pace there. I think that's going to be a really hard run to beat. And usually you see that first athlete out the gate, they're a little bit nervous, they take their time on obstacles, they're a bit more cautious, but she's really put the pressure on as we move into our second athlete here, Zoe Harkness. This is going to be interesting to see how she fares against Millie Baker's incredible time there.
Okay, I want
to
stand corrected. Millie did not get second in the World Championship. I have no idea where I got that information. My apologies to Millie.
Very interesting. Well, it looks like she deserved.
Well, I mean, she did finish
run.
first in the tech skill. That much I knew. I have no idea where I got that stat. But in any event, Zoe Harkness on the course, already making quick work.
Moving through spine runner with great ease here as we line up. It's going to be interesting if she goes for the links here, as we saw from Millie, and it looks like she's going to take that second backswing on lache lane to make sure of it.
Yeah,
Lining up the dismount.
Going with a smart approach, that's perfectly fine. You don't know what Gabby's going to do behind you, so you want to beat the course, try to set a time.
Absolutely.
That is exactly what she's going to do.
Yeah, coming into that warped wall, again, an exceptional time here from Zoe Harkness. A very, very strong run here, 48.09. That is going to put her into second place so far and really put the pressure on the back end of these athletes. You can see here, again, a really smooth run. And once you get through that lâcher lane, it's really just a game of how fast can you get to that buzzer.
And with those little hops up to the tallest wall, it becomes a little bit more interesting. Not a move you necessarily see in Ninja a lot. Kind of a parkour move, a little bit of vaulting, but we've seen. I think the amateur division's placement course was determined by 0.07. So it's those little microseconds that sometimes come into play as we see Gabby Manning about ready to take the course.
Now, Alex, we've just seen the time that's been set by Millie Baker of 35 seconds. So that's the kind of time that Gabby's going to have in the back of her mind here as she pushes through this course, moving well through the trampoline butterfly. And now I feel like this is where dreams can be crushed here. On Spine Runner, you have to navigate this very technical obstacle as quickly as possible, and now coming into lâcher lane.
Equally important is that 48-second time that Zoe put up. Given that the 35 seconds is about to pass, beating 48 seconds would at least give Gabby the opportunity to see Zoe on the course. But Gabby's taking a lot of extra swings, really just focused on that buzzer and getting some momentum unless she can really fly through these last few obstacles.
Yeah, anything's possible at the moment. She's definitely going to be pushed here for the time limit. As Gabby lines up the warped wall, and we're going to see our third completion, again demonstrating the strength of our teen athletes here in Australia, as Gabby sets a time of 51 seconds. Not quite there, but an exceptional time. And again, as you said, Alex, she can carry that momentum into the challenge course, which is where the business really gets started.
Great work there by Gabby. Great to see 3 for 3 on the placement course. Everybody has a little bit of momentum, and ironically, we'll be running in the opposite order that we did for the placement course and the challenge course.
Yeah, and Alex, I think as we've seen with the US competitions that we've looked at so far, the placement and the order in which you place in the placement run has proven to be heavily correlated to how you come out in the challenge course. Of course, we've seen different upsets from different competitors, but being able to go last, Millie has that advantage. It's going to really help as we now move into our next competitor.
It's Eric Reisel getting us started for the team male division. 3 in each. Not an auto qualify though. We'll explain when we get there.
Yeah, it's not as easy as it sounds just because there's 3 competitors. Ooh. It's not guaranteed.
I was almost
missing that.
I was a little bit worried. You really want to hop off very quickly on those mini tramps. He really stuck and had a very delayed reaction, but still had enough height to get up to the butterfly and now making quick work of the spine runner.
Eric now moving into lâcher lane. Definitely the obstacle that can chew up the most time if you can't connect those swings. Now taking a second backswing, really making sure of what is a massive lâcher and just manages to get his hands on the handles.
Onto the board and slipped off. It does tip a little bit from side to side. Usually those boards that have forked chains on them, you can, really grab one side and put weight on one side. But based on how close they are to the center, it will rock back and forth if your weight isn't equal.
Alex, I was just about to say that was an incredibly consistent run and we were going to see a consistent finish there, but Eric, of course, just kind of falling out on that last little obstacle that would have, after that he would have been probably in the home clear. But now we move on to our next 2 competitors who are going to be looking to go a little bit further here in this competition. We've got Joshua Joyce and Henry Bairstow. This is going to be interesting. I know personally that Joshua Joyce trains a lot, so it'll be interesting to see how he performs on this course.
Do you happen to know what Jimmy trains out of?
I'm pretty confident he trains out of the West Australian, the Ninja Academy here. So has experience on this course, been around the gym for at least the last 3-4 years. So Joshua Joyce is definitely one of the competitors to watch here.
Very cool. So competing on home turf. We'll see if that proves to be a benefit.
Yeah, competing on the home turf, understanding the Ninja Academy format definitely helps. Kind of understanding Dave Ravi's style when it comes to designing these obstacles is always a huge benefit. As we now come into Lachey Lane with a cracking pace so far, Alex. This is looking really strong. Josh taking that second backswing.
I love that you're pulling into the Australian dictionary with cracking. Had a nice link movement there on the flying squirrel as well.
Alex, I have plenty more to come. That is for
I love
sure.
it. I
When
can't
we're
wait.
Australian territory. We use
cannot
Australian
wait.
slang. Joshua Joyce coming up the warped wall at a very smooth run here with an awesome pace of 41 seconds. That is a great time. Potentially securing that top spot in the teen male division, but we'll see what our final competitor has to say. Just all round a very smooth run there, Alex. No dramas there.
Yeah, I mean, that was not necessarily the fastest run we've seen, as Millie's run was about 5 seconds faster, but it was very smooth. It was certainly one of the most effortless runs we've seen. Just very casually going through that course and getting a very good time to boot.
Yeah, and as we see more of these competitors go through, more of these teen competitors complete this course, I think it's really putting into perspective how great of a run Millie Baker did have there.
Right?
That's scary. I think if you're going up against her in the challenge course, she's a competitor to watch there. That was a very good time as the first competitor on that course.
And next up we have Henry Bairstow. Henry, I'm a little bit... I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, well, I was just going to say he'll be our final teen competitor here before we move into the challenge course after this. He's seen everyone else run, so it's got to help him out here. As he's moving through quite well.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried about that jump from the trampoline. We saw some of the shorter competitors have trouble with that in the preteen division. And he is also going to do the Baker approach, hopping right across like dominoes.
Yeah, I think he's got an incredible vertical here as he lines up Lachey Lane. Going for that top time, it looks like. Going to take that backswing. Lost a bit of momentum there. So that's going to cost him in the long run.
Still got to shuffle through. At least finishing this will get him the second spot in the run order, as it looks like the top time is going to pass.
Now coming into punching flags, slider.
Oh, grabbing really low.
Mistake is...
There we go, getting through. And he will, in fact, get the buzzer.
Yeah, and that's going to put him into second place, which isn't too bad. It looks like Eric is going to be our first runner, followed by Henry, and then Josh Joyce taking out that top spot. But overall, a really smooth run, Alex.
Yeah.
Of course, yes. I love this approach here, and I'm surprised more competitors haven't followed that same approach that we saw from Millie Baker and from Henry now.
Well, it is the riskier approach. The spine runner, the traditional sense, isn't the most difficult obstacle. And, if you do go down there, you have a really early spot in the run order. So I definitely understand the competitors that may be a little bit more worried about the balance, taking the slower approach, although battering ram is quite the difficult obstacle. We saw Darren Baker go out on it earlier. So we will have to see how our competitors fare on the challenge course as we see the run order one more time.
Well, Alex, as we've stated many times over, the run order has a huge influence on the end result often. However, all the teen division competitors are very strong athletes, so I think any one of them is capable of taking it out. Joshua Joyce, of course, taking out the most dominant time we have seen in the teen male division, and Millie Baker, the most dominant time in the teen female division.
If we could get Millie's run queued up one more time, I think this is the first time, at least that I can think of, that we've seen one of the female competitors have a better time than all the boys.
Yeah, no, it definitely was the most... I think we were taken off guard, to be truthful. As the first runner, we weren't even almost ready for how fast she was going to tackle this course. And she set a precedent and a run that none of us kind of expected out the gates from a first competitor. We can just see here Millie dominating this course, all the crowd trying to keep up, and just kind of getting that last warp wall. I don't think we got any highlights, unfortunately, from kind of the key laches and stuff.
She went too fast.
The links, we couldn't keep up. And it might be worth, if we can get up Joshua Joyce's run as a kind of comparison to see the top two athletes in the team division. I think it's interesting to see that from both divisions we had one athlete that just really stood out amongst the crowd there, getting times that are 10, 15 seconds faster. Josh, of course, has had a lot of experience at the WA Ninja Academy. Took a little bit of extra time, probably on the Lachey Lane there, but overall, he's probably run up that warped wall 1,000 times and just showing us there why he's the dominant competitor and the one to watch for the team male division. And yeah, I'm really excited, Alex, to see how they fare on the challenge course. I think that what this course has demonstrated is that the ninjas can go a lot further, that they have a lot more in the tank, and I think Dave is going to have a course for them that really tries to demonstrate that and brings out the most, like the best in these athletes and see who wants the baddest.
I think the thing I want to see the most is if we're going to see, and maybe the camera adjust. Well, I take that back. I'm curious to see if they're going to follow more of the preteen course or the amateur course that we saw earlier today, because that was, if I'm not mistaken, identical to the preteens placement course. And we saw some clears on the preteens. In the challenge course, if it's the challenge course again for the teens, we're going to see some buzzers hit. But that amateur course was no joke. In fact, we're going to find out right now because we are... I think this is a replay because this is Luke Davis.
Yeah, I do not believe we just saw Luke compete, but it will be interesting to see how this run is planned out. Of course, the infamous balance beam. This does not look like fun to tackle.
Yeah, this is a replay from the amateur division earlier on. Yeah, because we had that camera.
Dave always loves to throw in those balance obstacles at the start because you're nervous. It's really easy to fall when you have all the crowd watching. I love this obstacle, just having the hatchets. Just another forearm burner, really.
Yeah, and we saw this really come into play as the third obstacle. Recall, you do have to beat 3 obstacles to qualify if there's 4 or less competitors in your division, which is the case for the teens. Obviously, Luke also had that broken finger he was running with, which is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, that blows my mind that you step onto a ninja course with a broken finger. That is... That's you got to have some bravery there to be able to do something like that. Not many ninjas would put their body on the line like that. And of course, the infamous Stegosaurus. This has been a WA ninja staple for such a long time. So a lot of these ninjas are very experienced in it. And if it's brought into the elites category, I think you'll see ninjas almost skip the entire thing. There's definitely ways to do it. So it'll be interesting, Alex.
Yeah, I mean, the other alternative is Devil Step. So I imagine we're going to be seeing this all day.
I think having trained there a lot and having done that obstacle a million times, there is definitely ways that you can almost do it in one single swing if you build up the momentum.
And this is something I'm really glad that we saw, some unique elements, some unique holds. I really haven't seen these swords used in American courses or really anywhere outside of Australia. Same here for the Trident. I forget what it was called, but I mean, just that's really cool.
It's mostly because Dave designs a lot of these obstacles himself. You see him out the back just cutting them up in his workshop, and he loves to build obstacles, and that's why we get these unique holds. He loves just making holds that are way too difficult to grab. He's got some giant candlesticks and some other things that almost are sometimes impossible for people to hold. So
well, we got some insight that that wood is decently grippy, which makes it a little bit easier, I suppose. But it's definitely good that we know the texture of that obstacle, because if it was particularly slippery, I've seen like some icicles before, which are kind of the same idea. It's like a downwards cone, but it's really slick, and I've never seen that in a course because I don't think I've ever seen anyone hang on to it for more than 2 seconds.
Yeah. I think I'm really excited, Alex, just to see kind of how Millie fares on this course. And honestly, I think if she performs well here, it's kind of, it'll put into question why she wasn't in the elite division, because if she executes on the challenge course like we saw in that placement course, she's going to really dominate this female teen division. But anything can happen. We don't know what to expect for this challenge course. And of course, there's key balance obstacles at the start that can throw off the best of competitors. I think every single year that we've seen the finals conducted in Western Australia, there's been balance obstacles that have taken out the final seeded athletes just because of how much pressure is on them.
Okay, we're taking a look at the challenge course run order here. Obviously, everyone who is competing today has a very storied history in the Ninja Challenge League, which is the main league in Australia. And
Definitely. They've all built up a plethora of experience kind of training through that competitive environment. And I think the beauty of the West Australian and the Australian ninja scene at large is that we have kind of so many different leagues available for ninjas, and there's so many competitions going on all the time, which allows them to gain so much experience in that competitive environment. So coming into today for something as prestigious as the Premier Ninja League series is going to be, I think it's going to be their bread and butter. They're going to know what to do here. They're going to know how to thrive under the pressure and how to deal in these environments where they're seeing new obstacles that they've never seen before.
And that's really been the case throughout this Premier Series. We saw, for instance, last week at Motive, just some absolute insanity, particularly in that elite men's course when we had the monkey hop that only 3 competitors beat out of 11. I mean, it's... Yeah. I'm so glad that we're seeing these course designers, follow the task and get an A on their homework.
Yeah, for those listening at home who didn't see last week's elite male division, I highly recommend you go and check that one out. That was probably one of the most phenomenal courses that we've seen developed in a long time, and it really pushed the athletes. But Alex, it looks like we're gearing up and getting ready to go here. It's important for viewers to note that they do need to complete the first 3 obstacles in order to qualify here. It's not an automatic qualifier for any less than 4 competitors, as Gabby Manning lines up for this first obstacle.
Quick reminder on how the challenge course works. You get 2 retries anywhere on the course, but you cannot use both retries on the same obstacle. Obviously, you do have to beat the obstacle in front of you to move on, and the clock will pause during resets. As Gabby heads over to the hatchets, they're to your left, Gabby. There you go.
Well, it's definitely worth noting that the retries have been invaluable, but each time you reset, you're obviously more gassed out than the previous go, so sometimes it's a big ask of our competitors. But we have seen those retries really make a huge difference for competitors, and Gabby Manning, despite going first in this course, is having no troubles so far and has secured her spot, which is an exceptional effort so far.
Yeah, so this looks like we're following the preteen course as she is onto the bungee box lache. Those bungees we saw provided some interesting moments in the preteens, particularly when they didn't get a hold of all of the strands. We saw one athlete grab only 1 strand of each bungee and still manage to anchor with it.
That is awesome. And now we're going to start to see the endurance part of this course really kick in as we come into the devil steps here. This is always a bit of a forearm burner, followed by the back end of this, which is the cross. This is this gets you.
Yeah,
you can see
very tough pegboard.
Yeah, taking a lot of inspiration there from the pegboard. Absolutely.
Now on to the cliffhanger. We saw athletes power through this in the placement course in the amateurs, but given that the athletes that are getting here in the teens have had quite a bit more to do before this is going to be a forearm burner.
Yeah, it's definitely designed to burn the forearms here. You can see that Gabby is moving through very strong here as we come into our second last obstacle to really see what the ninjas are made of. This is just endurance here as we come into the salmon ladder with 50 seconds left on the clock. This is going to be close.
Yeah, not loving her time. She does have both retries if she wants them, but I'm not sure how much time she's going to have after she takes quite a bit of rest.
Yeah, and it might be a strategic rest there, just taking the time, going for it. First attempt. Realistically, yeah, this will be her first and only attempt.
She falls like right here, maybe. Time. Yeah, she falls right there, going to get another opportunity to rest. 24 seconds
that rest
remaining.
Will be valuable there, but it's going to be difficult, Alex. You can see that she's tiring a little bit here. This is coming into the back end of a really difficult course. And now coming into the salmon ladder, yeah, it's an exhausting one.
13 seconds.
Lining up the first hop.
Well, she got the bar onto the rung, but didn't hang on herself. Nevertheless, 6 obstacles completed, and almost 2 minutes to the dot.
Yeah, no, all round it was a very smooth run, Alex. And to be honest, it looked like Gabby was on track to complete this course. All the way through, we didn't have too much doubt. But I think once it got to that salmon ladder, just after burning through that cliffhanger, it really got the better of her and just proves how difficult this course is. You can now just see the last two competitors that are going to be trying to beat that course run so far. So we've got Zoe Harkness and Millie Baker, of course. This is going to be really close, to be truthful, Alex, because this is really playing not only into the competitors' speed, but more so their endurance and strength. It's going to be a test of which ninja is the strongest and which ninja has trained their endurance the most as we gear up for Zoe Harkness' run.
Yeah, Zoe, an athlete that has been to multiple world championships, trains out of the compound. Jack, can you tell us a little bit about the compound?
Yeah, the compound definitely is in the eastern states, and it produces some of the most dominant Australian athletes. The community I've heard around the compound is incredible in terms of the athletes they produce and how much they push each other. So yeah, for Zoe to have that experience training at the compound, to have been to the World Championships, I have no doubt that she can really set a dominant course run here, as it will play into the strengths of endurance and of dealing with these really crazy obstacles that we haven't seen before.
A lot smaller moves on hatchets, which is a little worrisome, but so far so good, and on to the second portion.
Yeah, efficiency definitely is the name of the game here, Alex, as she is struggling. Oh no! Out on hatchets. Yeah, she's going to get a second retry.
She was really batting at that third board. I would have liked to see her go to the second and then maybe skip to the fourth, although that is a little bit of an upwards move. Really not using too much lock-offs, keeping straight arms, which is, again, a little bit worrisome. Second attempt now. Must beat this to qualify.
Now,
much better.
From her yeah, this is looking good here. Zoe has learned from her mistakes and is now through
the
hatchet's obstacle.
Hold on. Now she's through the hatchet's obstacle.
Almost spoke too soon there, Alex, but no. I had faith. Now coming into the bungee box.
I am wow, a static there. That's the first we've seen.
That's definitely the play. I think everyone's just seen that and being like, all right, cool, we're going to static it now. If you've got the wingspan, that definitely looks like the approach.
That is the benefit of running later on in the challenge course. You get to see when somebody breaks an obstacle like that.
Now coming up to the devil steps and just taking her time a little bit here, which of course, the longer that you're up on that course, the more it's going to be burning your forearms and the more it's going to cost you in the long run. But Zoe's looking calm. She's looking collected as she moves through the cross and now just has to dismount.
And she's got the dismount. 53 seconds
now
left for cliffhanger.
Yeah, and this is really where we get into the pointy end of the course. This is really where the forearms are going to be burning, and it's going to be a question of have you been doing your training? How are your forearms feeling? You can see her stretching out there.
Moreover, this is behind Gabby's time, so she's going to have to beat both this and the salmon ladder in only 31 seconds, and she's already taken a fall. I think she might be out of gas. Okay, so I got one more.
Yeah, she's just remembering that she has one more attempt here.
The challenge course, technically new to everyone, but especially new to these Australian athletes.
Yeah,
at least in the course format. Almost made it all the way this time, but coming undone. And Zoe will finish behind Gabby, but still getting some love and that qualifying spot in Brooklyn.
Yeah, it was definitely a close one there. Of course, making that first mistake on the hatchets, but securing her spot there in the Premier Series finals. And you can just see her there having a really strong run. I think perhaps just the time spent in the air would have burnt her out a little bit. And had she been more efficient, she might have had some more energy coming into the cliffhangers. But yeah, just couldn't quite secure it there. But yeah. You can see the benefit of those retries, but you can also see how much it gasses out the forearms there. So Zoe Harkness completing 5 obstacles, Gabby Manning setting the top time and the top score so far with 6 obstacles complete in a time of 2 minutes. And Millie Baker is going to be our final runner here, looking to not only complete the first 3 obstacles, but potentially go all the way. I have my fingers crossed here, Alex, and I hope that we get to see a completion here.
Well, we saw an incredible run by Millie earlier. She was the fastest boy or girl to get through the placement course. In fact, possibly the fastest we've seen in any division. Very careful here on the battering ram. It took out her father earlier today, but she is through nicely. That's part 1 done. Part 2 is getting this 3rd obstacle and qualifying for finals. Part 3 would be beating Gabby's time, and part 4 would be getting that buzzer. She is.
And I think she's going for part 4.
Oh, absolutely, as we all would.
as we all would, Alex. Now looking really strong, has secured that spot in the Premier Series finals. We haven't seen any upsets from the teen female division there, which is great to see. And now going for that static. That definitely is the meta now.
We're going to see that out of all the boys, I'm guessing. As she moves on to the double steps and cross.
Okay, this is where the business really starts. It's where the forearms begin to burn, as the back end of this course is just kind of designed to test your endurance and see how bad you want it. Now coming into the cross, inspired by the pegboard. This cross can move if Dave wants it to. It doesn't look like it's on the cards for today's course, but it definitely does move.
Yeah, I think we saw one athlete try to go down to that lower peg, missed it, and then just went past it the second time.
Yeah. Well, Millie is setting a strong time so far, moving through the cliffhanger at the fastest rate we've seen from the teen female division so far. And 1:18 on the clock, Alex. This is looking like a strong run. She may get 2 attempts at this if she needs it.
This is the fastest to this point, so Millie has secured first place, but wants more.
Yeah, Millie is looking for that completion as we gear up for the salmon ladder. This is just to see how much endurance she has left in the tank.
Has time to do it. There's 1.
Alex, this is looking strong here.
There's 2. She's going to go straight for this top bar, I think. She is entitled to do that. No requirement on the number of rungs you have to go up. WNL rules at play here.
Just 1. She's going to go straight for the dismount.
Easily done.
For a completion.
And Millie Baker is going to exact some revenge for her father, getting the double buzzer and getting first place in both the placement and challenge course. Incredible stuff out of Millie.
Yeah, when you think of an athlete that is more deserving of this win, it's hard to express because Millie has dominated in that placement run and has come through and proven that all of her training, all of her efforts, all of her experience at the World Championships has come into play here, and just an incredibly dominant performance from Millie. That's going to be something worth celebrating in the weeks and days to come.
Certainly true, and I hope Millie is an athlete that we get to see at Ferox in November, because she very well could give some of these American girls a run for their money.
Yeah, and Alex, that concludes our teen female division, and we will now be moving into the teen male division, where I don't know who's going to come out on top here. It's really hard to tell. Of course, they've now seen the other athletes go through this course, which is invaluable. But we're going to see Eric up first, followed by Henry, and then Joyce, who set the top time by about 10 seconds.
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to what they have in store.
And the same rules apply, of course. You get 2 retries. Can't use the same 2 retries on the same obstacle. And yeah, I think it's going to be a close one.
And just to be clear to everybody, it is the challenge course that determines the placement for the final standings, I should say. So even though Zoe was in second in the placement course, she will finish 3rd overall because she was in 3rd in the challenge course. But obviously, main job done, qualified for Ferox in November. And just one more glance at the format just so everybody can get a visual of it.
Yeah, and we can see it's really worth noting that since there are less than 4 competitors in the teen male division, we will again need to see them through to the 3rd obstacle. It's definitely the longer course. The challenge course is designed to push our ninjas, and we have seen people fall before the 3rd obstacle before. So hopefully we don't see a repeat of history here now.
Dave's stealing a block from the spine runner, I'm guessing, just to accommodate for some of the shorter athletes, helping them get up to those bungees. And it looks like that is precisely what he's done.
It's what we like to see. And I think it'll be interesting, Alex, after now we're gearing up into the teen division, so I can forget what I was about to say, as Eric Reisel now steps up to the platform. Eric, of course, came out a little bit earlier than what he would have hoped in the placement course, but we have seen our first seeded competitors do extremely well in these courses. As he now moves on to the battering ram with great pace here, you can see the balance required.
Yeah, great work there, steadying himself out with his arms. And being very cautious.
It all plays a factor in that, but he's off the battering ram. Haven't seen any early exits from the teen division so far.
Thankfully, hopefully we keep that going.
I hope so, Alex, as we now move into hatchets. And Eric is looking strong here. He's making big reaches. And is moving through hatchets well. This is a much smoother run that we are seeing from Eric here, playing into the strengths of his endurance.
Okay, we're being told it's Ricky, not Eric. Our apologies.
Well, we're now going with Ricky. And we are now... It doesn't make sense now.
Oh, look at this! An under grab on that special... Nope, never mind. It is just a normal grab. Looked like for a second he was trying an under grab there. Going for the conventional technique as he moves on to double steps and cross.
Now, moving through... I love the time that's been set for this course. You know, a minute 40 left on the clock with the three perhaps most grueling obstacles left. It goes to show how much that Dave wants to push these teen athletes and make them work for it. But Eric, of course, has completed the first three obstacles, which secures his spot in the Premier Series finals, which is always great to see. But Ricky wants more as we go into the next part of this course.
Yeah, he wants to set a very strong run for his fellow competitors to try and beat. And he is going to try for this lower peg, never mind. Changing his mind.
Yeah, it's a big reach there. Alex, he's spending a lot of time up here. Ricky probably doesn't want to be up here for as long as he has been. That's going to be burning the forearms. And it's worth noting that those pegs are on an angle, which makes them extra difficult to hold on to. But Ricky is now through this obstacle.
There we go. 45 seconds left for the cliffhanger. Not a ton of time, but still at least some time to tackle this cliffhanger.
Yeah, you can see his hands are hurting, his forearms are burning. He's a bit gassed, but if he can just pull out a bit of energy here, he can make it through this cliffhanger, no doubt.
Let's see if he can fight through the pain. 27 seconds. He does get 2 attempts. But you probably want to go on this first one, because the second one you're going to be really gassed. 3 ledges to go.
3 more grabs to go.
Oh, no, he fell off. Still technically has an opportunity to clear with 15 seconds left, but he's really got to move this time.
And it's hard to say whether or not he'd have the gas, but you'd love to see the effort. He gets knocked down, he gets back up. Ricky is setting a much stronger run there, and he can be really proud of that. Who knows? That could be the winning run there, Alex. We will have to wait and see.
You never know. We have seen stranger things come out of these competitions.
Yeah, I think Ricky just got caught up on the cross there, probably spending a bit more time than what he would have liked, and then I had hope there for the cliffhanger. I really thought he was going to make it through there, but just falling short. And we will see how our last 2 competitors fare against that time. Ricky setting a 2:15 there to the 5th obstacle.
Yeah, it was looking promising there for a little while. Just came undone when he ran out of gas. Henry Bairstow will be our next athlete, and he knows what he needs to do. Getting to the cliffhanger in, I think it was about 2:20, or just outright beating it would put him into first place. But job 1, get the 3rd obstacle.
Yeah, and one thing I'm interested to see here is Henry is obviously one of our lighter competitors, and that can really help in an endurance run like this, especially moving things like through things like hatchets, which is, of course, a one-arm swinging obstacle. So
really helped on
you can just see him gliding.
Really helped on battering ram. Also, that beam barely moved. Great control throughout this run so far, and he's going to be looking for the dismount that will get him through to the finals. That's job 1 done.
Yeah, I think Henry's eyes are on the prize here. He's
Oh,
looking
yeah.
like he's going to go for that completion.
It looks like he's
either
going to
go for the lat.
I think he's going to have to go for the Lachey, and he gets the
Yeah.
Lachey. Now, Jack, how familiar are these Australian athletes with special deliveries?
I would say very familiar at this point. We've seen much narrower special deliveries and many much more complex special deliveries. I think once they got introduced into the World Ninja League, they kind of plagued across the globe and just become a staple part of every Ninja Warrior's diet. So yeah, Henry would be very familiar with that special delivery.
Yeah, that is the power of the internet. We're starting to get obstacles being spread more worldwide. Certainly something that we're hoping gets accomplished with the Premier Series.
Absolutely. We're
looking
looking
at the pegboard.
Henry here just struggling a little bit. But a minute 30 on the clock is not a bad time to be coming into this obstacle with.
Yeah, that will put him into first place. There is time still to clear, even with a potential retry.
The beauty of this team course is just how difficult it is and how little time there is to rest. That is really part of the equation here. You can see Henry powering through this entire course and now moving through Cliffhanger really well, despite having no rest to this point.
Yeah, really using the swing to his advantage, not really powering through, more relying on his swing and his hips. 2 obstacles to go, a minute left to complete them. Gonna get some shock first.
Now he's probably only going to get one attempt at this with 50 seconds on the clock, unless he falls early here. But Henry is looking strong, and I think Joyce would be watching on the sidelines, being a little bit scared knowing that he's up next and has to kind of compete with this incredible run we're seeing so far.
Well, he's onto the bar.
Henry gets the first rung, and now looking for the second.
He's fighting through, gets crooked though. You can tell he's grimacing. And he
No!
lost it.
And I don't think he could complete that in 18 seconds unless he jumped the entire salmon ladder in one go.
As
Henry
the
is
spirit
gonna
of
give us
Mike
another go.
Bernardo takes him. Mike Bernardo, of course, still very much with us, but
Henry now coming in and trying to rectify his mistakes. Just going to give it another go. He won't have time to complete this obstacle, but showing he had some gas left in the tank. Henry looking a little bit disappointed, but I think he can be so proud of that run, Alex.
I'm not sure if that was disappointment or fatigue. He looked gassed.
Yeah, this course is brutal. It is taking everything out of our ninjas here. But Henry, probably the best technique we have seen so far on the Cliffhanger from the teens. That was just really good conservation of energy and just utilizing that swing, and just came up short on that salmon ladder.
Great work by Henry. Guaranteed top 2, guaranteed that final spot, but still all to play for with Joshua Joyce about to take the start line, our final runner of the teen division.
Yeah, Alex, and as we've seen before through previous divisions, knowing what time you have to beat, knowing where you've got to get to, and knowing what mistakes not to make can be incredibly valuable for these athletes. So Josh knows that he's got to get to obstacle 6 by a minute 58, and we're going to see how he fares on this course. Josh setting the strongest time we saw from the teen male division, 15 seconds ahead of the other competitors in that placement course. So Josh is going to be looking to take out that top spot and get a completion. Josh just gearing up here as we wait for the starting buzzer. And we are off with 3 minutes on the clock. As our other athletes have demonstrated, this is only just enough time to finish the course if you don't take any rest and maybe
Moreover,
get
this battering ram is tricky. Gets through it though. We'll need to give him an extra punch. About to take on the hatchets.
Oh, we're seeing some lock-off here. A demonstration of strength. As Josh is holding those 90s and now moving through battering ram.
Yeah, very much earning his spot as he gets his punch. And he will be off to Ferox, getting the reach. And just so smooth through that obstacle, onto the devil steps and cross. He's barely looked like he's broken a sweat.
Yeah, he looks like he's just warmed up and he's ready to go now. This is perhaps the smoothest run we have seen so far from the teen athletes. This is exceptional. 2 minutes on the clock, Alex. Josh has plenty of time.
Oh, yeah. and still both retries in the bank if he needs them. And look at that, just going to reach out. That is the power of having a wingspan like Joshua's.
Yeah, Josh understanding his advantages as a taller competitor and using them to the fullest. This is the fastest we have seen a team competitor to this point, 1:33. Josh holding that full lock off, trying to conserve his forearms. And this is an incredible display of efficiency, Alex. This is the most efficient run we've seen so far.
Certainly is, and he has plenty of time to take on the salmon ladder, even if he needs 2 shots at it. Obviously, the worked wall he will not need an extra shot at.
No, I don't think he will, but he's got 1:07 on the clock. Could even afford to take a break, but Josh is going to go straight into it. He's looking strong, and it's going to be interesting to see how he fares. This obstacle has caused other competitors...
Oh,
my lord.
I don't think it's causing him any difficulty, as he has just skipped a rung.
As you do, just casually. Why would you use all 3 when you can just skip one?
Yeah, really.
Josh, with 42 seconds on the clock, this is looking to be a promising run here.
Josh is making this look easy. 35 seconds. He's going to beat it in about 2:30. Hitting the buzzer. The only teen male challenge course buzzer. Getting the gold medal. Getting the spot in finals. You get it all, Josh.
Josh, that was an exceptional run all round. A WA athlete doing us proud and showing up all the other athletes in this Premier Series division. And hopefully we will see him at the Premier Series finals, because that was an exceptional run all round from a phenomenal athlete.
And Stage 3-esque challenge course at Ferox. He might have a shot, because he looked like he could probably do this course once or twice more again.
Yeah, I think he was ready to go again at the end there. That was just his warm-up, and he's ready to take on a harder course. I hope that we see him in the Elite Division in years to come.
I think maybe he might sneak on a fake mustache and run the Elite Division anyway.
I think so. Just put on some shoes that makes him a little bit taller. Just put on a different set of clothes,
the old
and he'll
trench
be ready
coat.
to go.
Into the R-rated movie? No, but Josh with a tremendous run. He gets first place. And thankfully, we have seen all 6 of these athletes get their work requirement in beating the 3 obstacles, and all 6 of them getting to qualify, with Josh and Millie taking home the gold medals.
Yeah, Josh and Millie, clearly the standout competitors across both divisions. It was really undeniable, in their placement course runs, they dominated. And then in the challenge course runs, they again just stood out with smooth, efficient runs, and a demonstration of their endurance really came through there. And yeah, I don't know what else to say, Alex. That was exceptional from all athletes.
Certainly true. And if you thought this course was tough, wait until you see the elite course in just about an hour's time.
Yeah, no, the best has been saved for last, but we're just going to look at some more highlights here. We can just see our first female athlete going through there, getting that buzzer in that placement course.
Yeah, that was Gabby. She put up a great run. In fact, I think we were 3 for 3 in placement course buzzers for the women, which was nice to see.
Yeah, Gabby setting, again, both really great runs. We can see here...
This is Zoe Harkness.
Our teen female division just showing a display of strength here. The cliffhanger, of course, burned many of our competitors here. The most exceptional save of efficiency there. And then of Joyce. This is, just all around a great division, Alex.
Certainly true. These young men and women will be in the elite division in years to come. But in the meantime, we have the elite division of today in just about an hour. Stick around. Well, there will be a different stream link, but we do hope that you tune in for that. If you're here on the East Coast of America, get some caffeine in you, because it is going to be a lot of fun and you are not going to want to miss it.
Yeah, absolutely, Alex. I cannot wait to see the elites. We're going to step it up another level as we jump in to see some of Australia's best athletes take on perhaps some of the most difficult courses that we've ever seen. They're going to be pushed to their absolute limits, and it's not going to be one to miss.
Certainly true. We will see you in about an hour's time back in Perth, Australia.
Of course